This t-shirt that I have right here reads, "What hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground," or grave. This is the t-shirt right here. You see that? What hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground, or from the grave. That's Genesis 4:10. This is the t-shirt, and this is Kelsey signing in again. I want to talk to you about something very serious today. This past weekend in Chicago, August 21st through the 23rd, I think that was Sunday night, we had a wave of violence again, more shootings and so forth, and it just goes on and on and on. And so the last couple of nights I've been working, staying up, thinking. I think last night I put something on the website AmericanWorkersForChange.us, AmericanWorkersForChange.us, where I posed the question, or I posed a scenario where residents here in Chicago, perhaps we need to view the city in a different perspective, a new and different approach. Perhaps we need to view the city of Chicago as the family, okay? Family in the sense that it's a habitat where we all live together in peace. We want the same things. Everybody basically wants the same things in life. Nice place to live, shelter, good health care, education, or trade, some type of trade and so forth, some means to earn a living. We all basically want the same thing. What we don't want is to be the victim of some senseless, foolish act of violence, as was seen down in St. Louis. I don't know her name. I'll just call her Miss Peggy, the grandmother of that precious little girl. And she was angry. She had every right to be angry. And so what we need to do, perhaps we need to look at our city. We need to view it in a different light. I'm just going to read a little bit from the website information that I put on the other night. To claim the city as your family opens up a new door. It births a new mindset, removes blinders that impede civic recognition, that we all must live together in peace and respect for life and property. This type of civic bonding can only happen if we create a new perspective, a new way of how we view ourselves and the value of others. We must share the same type of family persuasion that was seen during Hurricane Katrina in New Orleans 10 years ago this month. And I lived in New Orleans for a couple of years, a few years ago, and they still talk about how people came together. The issue of race and black and white during a crisis like that really don't matter, because people were helping each other. It didn't make any difference who you were. It was a disaster there. And that same type of family recognition, that same type of family atmosphere is what we need to bring to our cities. It's your city. It's where you live. Okay? So I did a survey. I took a survey yesterday, did some brief surveys on people, and I asked that question to them. If the citizens of Chicago viewed ourselves as family, do you think this new image that we hold for ourselves would create a stronger citizen bond and help decrease crime? Perhaps some of those who are committing violence would view themselves as outsiders of the Chicago family and think twice about committing crime. Maybe if the news media, the mayor, and citizens began to refer to our city, Chicago, as Chicago family, if we would welcome visitors to Chicago family instead of Chicago, perhaps over time we would create this new image. We would embrace this new image of ourselves, and perhaps that would also filter down to people, hopefully, who are committing these crimes, because obviously they don't know. this situation, this shirt that I showed you when I first, the website first came on, what hast thou done? What hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground. Is God talking to two people early on in the Bible? Excuse me. It was two people, two brothers, Cain and Abel. And by the way, we all, evolution is another story, but if you believe the Bible like I do, then you know that we all, every person that's been born, with the exception of Jesus, was born by our earthly, were birthed by our earthly parents, okay, Adam and Eve. So inherently, we're all connected even after all of these thousands of years have passed anyway. So the biblical story goes that Cain. Let me introduce some of you people out there who are handling these guns and killing each other. Let me just say, let me tell you, maybe if we introduce you to Cain, maybe that might help the error of your ways. You might want to change a little bit. Let's just back up and introduce you to Cain a little bit. Cain was one of the sons of Adam and Eve, our parents, our earthly parents, the parents of all of us, okay? And because of his dissatisfaction with his circumstances, let me just put it that way, okay, he sought out to, and in fact did, take out his frustrations on his brother Abel and slew him and killed him. And so God came to him and asked him one day, where was he? Where's your brother? After God knew that Cain had killed his brother, and he asked him. And Cain, the question that God asked him was just what I read you on the t-shirt, okay, which is, told him that your brother, the blood of your brother, cried out unto me from the ground, or from the grave in today's circumstance. And Cain was cursed by God, and he became a vagabond and a wanderer in the earth, and was afraid that men would kill him. But God said, no, I'm going to put a mark on you and protect you so that no one will attack you. So Cain was, after he had committed that crime, after he had killed his brother, okay, became afraid that that mankind was going to retaliate against him, for he felt that they probably would find out about it, or they knew about it already, and someone would kill him. But God protected him as far as that went. He let no man raise his hand against Cain. But Cain became afraid of God because of what he did, and he became afraid of mankind because of what he did. Feared mankind, feared the police. Okay, in today's world, feared the police. If you've whoever killed that little girl in St. Louis, Miss Peggy's granddaughter. Okay, so why would anybody want to have that type of fear of God? Not only God for what you did, but of mankind. So he's got a double fear. Okay, a fearful person, vagabond, kind of like walking the earth. Why would you want to be like that? So the question is, does that question that God asked Cain way back then, what hast thou done to that little girl in St. Louis? What hast thou done? For her blood crieth up unto me from the ground, from the grave. Does that question still hold true these thousands and thousands of years later? After Cain slew Abel? I suggest to you that it does. That her blood does cry out unto God from the grave and from the ground. So, in asking people on this survey about how would they feel about Chicago, about the residents of Chicago, let's take on a new dimension and perspective of how we view our city. Let's view it as Chicago family. And so some people, in my interviewing people, some people say, oh man, it's just words. It's idealism. It's just some type of something that's not really going to happen. Okay, it has no teeth to it. Okay, but we can put teeth to it. We can put teeth to that suggestion. We can put teeth to this. Excuse me. To this new perspective that I'm proposing right now. Okay, you see this T-shirt? We can wear these. What hast thou done for the blood of thy brother or thy sister, if it applies to a female, crieth unto me from the ground. And whoever out there is committing these crimes and who have done crimes like that, they'll get the message. Okay? We can set up 501c3 for the entire Chicago family. The residents of Chicago, a not-for-profit organization of 501c3, we can set that up, cost basically little or nothing, and set it up where we can fund activities like wearing shirts like this that carry a message, a spiritual, biblical message. Okay? So we can enlist churches. All of the churches should become Chicago family members. Those that want to participate can participate. Those that don't, then they don't have to. What about businesses? Businesses can become members of Chicago family. And then there's the residents themselves, families and individuals. Okay? And then what about a national city family of American cities? A coalition, basically, of all families, all cities who have designated themselves families, and then you create a coalition, a national coalition of families. Okay? I'm trying to stay in the camera as much as I can. So there's ways that we can put teeth to this new concept, a new perspective of what the city should be. This habitat should be our family. When we welcome people to Chicago, we should welcome them to the Chicago family. Okay? Want to just see. Yeah. So a lot of people in their idealism think that this is idealism, but we can transform this from idealism to realism. Okay, it depends on how much we want to make it real. How tired are we of weekend after weekend? For the last few years, somebody gets killed, somebody is injured, some little child is shot with a stray bullet. I mean, we're tired of this. Enough is enough. Okay, we must view our city and your city as a habitat for family. You can still do what you do. You can, basically, let's just not look at victims of crime, is what I'm saying, as him or her or them. It should be, if something happens, we lost a Chicago family member today or yesterday. We have to embrace that concept and make it personal, just like it was during Hurricane Katrina. Okay, that city showed a resourcefulness of togetherness that when you go there, people are still talking about it. Contemporary time in New Orleans revolves around Hurricane Katrina, the storm. They talk about the storm. That was right around the time of the storm, So they're talking about Katrina, okay? So there's a lot that we can do. We need to entertain setting up a 501c3 for the entire city. We need to enlist the churches. We need to enlist businesses. We need to enlist families and individuals. And let's see if we can root some of this crime out from among us. I can't really read it, okay? But now, anything that I I wasn't able to say, I'm going to go to the website, I'm going to post this on the website, this video that I'm shooting. It looks like it's about, 15 minutes now, and that's long enough. Okay, but you get the point of what I'm saying, and if you don't, you can go to AmericanWorkersForChange.us, and whatever I wasn't able to say on the video, then I'll put it in on the website so you can read it, read the text that I'm going to type in a little bit later. But there's something that can be done about this. Enough is enough. What hast thou done? For the blood of thy brother crieth unto me from the ground, from the grave. So saith our God to Cain, thousands of years ago when he slew his brother. So saith our God today to those of you who are out there handling guns and perpetrating violence on our community. What hast thou done? Okay, I'm going to sign off. Let's be prayerful and let's pray on this and see if we can stop some of this. We have to come up with some solutions for this, because this crime, day in and day out, week in and week out, in our urban areas, it has to stop. It must stop. Okay, Kelsey signing out. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.